Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the presentation on VoIP phones. My name is Khawer Nehal and I represent Applied Technology Research Center and Remote Support LLC, among other companies. Today's presentation is about VoIP phones, and one of the most popular ones looks like this. It's called a Cisco VoIP phone. This is also termed a hard phone. That means it's physically something that you can handle. So it's like a piece of hardware. So that's why they also call it, also known as a hard phone. And there are many models, not just brands by Cisco, but other brands also. Then, similar to hard phones, there's another thing called a soft phone. It's also a VoIP phone, and it's basically a phone inside software. So it could be on your mobile or your desktop. This cloud is just there to represent the softness of software, but it means you can't really hold on to it. Anyway, so there are the other concept of hard. Like the cloud is related to servers on the internet, but that's a different concept. This is what a soft phone will look like. It'll just have a headset and a mic, and it will be running on a desktop or a laptop or any computer or mobile, and that will be a soft phone. Basically, this hard phone also has a piece of software running in it, so you can think of it as a small computer running the VoIP software, but it is packaged inside a physical phone shaped thing, so it's called a hard phone. Now we will be talking about the benefits of VoIP phones over POTS phones. POTS is the acronym for plain old telephony service. These are the old phones which have PSTN, which is public switched telephone networks. So the advantages of VoIP over plain old telephony service is cost savings, lower call costs, no need for separate phone lines. The lower call costs are because VoIP calls are, especially if you're doing long distance or international calls, the VoIP calls will be cheaper because they use usually the internet to route their calls over. Almost all of them are through the internet. And for separate phone lines, you just need a LAN wire. So the LAN wire runs on packets and frames. So you don't need to have separate wires going to a phone and separate wires going to your computer. You can use the same LAN and connect your VoIP phones to it, and the computer can have the software, and you don't need a separate physical phone also. So you don't need to run separate lines and then maintain those lines. The other thing is flexibility and mobility. You can use it anywhere. Basically, VoIP phones work anywhere where there's an internet connection, and you could even run them on Wi-Fi. You don't really need a LAN wire, so it's even more flexible. It allows making remote work easier, and then software phones and mobile apps, those allow computers, tablets, smartphones, and other physical desk phones to run the VoIP software. So you're not limited to just a physical phone running your dial tone. Okay, the scalability. You can easily add and remove lines. With PSTN, you have to actually have a physical line. So VoIP allows scaling up and scaling down and modifications much more easily. Also, you can have multiple devices. So you can have a single VoIP number which can be ringing on multiple devices. So for example, you have an incoming call on the number which has been provided as like a toll-free number, for example, or any number for the board. So usually they have a switchboard and then they've got call hunting in normal phones. But with VoIP, you can have it ring 5 or 6 different devices at the same time. That way, if any one of the person picks it up first, they will get the call. So that is how VoIP works compared to normal phones. In normal phones, you have to wait until one stops. You can set a certain time for call hunting. But with VoIP, you can ring multiple phones at the same time, or you can also do call hunting if you want. The choice is up to you. Then there are advanced features like call forwarding, voice to email, auto attendance. Now, call forwarding means you can forward the call to another number, or you can even forward it to your WhatsApp or something like that. You don't have to actually access your voicemail through your phone. You can actually have it, the voicemail, also emailed to you. You could also have it in the phone and also in the voicemail box and also email. So it doesn't have to be one or the other. You can have both. Auto attendants are basically softwares that will pick up the phone and like give you options like press the one for this or two for that, and they provide directory services and a lot of other features. Integration with CRM and business tools. The examples are, for example, when somebody is calling and you transfer a call to some person, they want the CRM to be able to look at the number that is being called from and bring up the information about the customer in front of the agent before they pick up the phone. So that's an example of integration with CRM. Secondly, the calls that are made and the discussion that is happening, that will be recorded in the CRM with the same customer that was being talked to. Better call quality. Now, with the ordinary phones, the plain old telephony service, you're limited to 8,000 samples. It's called like U-law or A-law. You're limited to, with the normal telephony service, you're limited to 64K channel with 8,000 samples per second. That's just the way it is. It's PCM, and that's the maximum quality you can get. Usually that quality is considered, I think, 3.5 or maximum 4. I think it's 3.5. Yeah, PCM is 3.5. But then if you want to have, with the advantage, like if you have done other VoIP calls on Skype or other things like WhatsApp, you might have noticed that in some cases the voice quality is better than an ordinary phone call. And that is what we mean by higher quality voice. There are different, the methods that voice is transmitted over phones and VoIP is called codecs. That means coders and decoders. So you convert the call into a digital signal, and then you convert the digital signal back into audio, and the quality of the call depends on the amount of data you're sending and also the kind of coding you're doing. For example, one of the highest qualities is called CD quality, which means high amount. So you have got something like 650 megabytes for 70 minutes. That's what a CD is defined as. And that it's not a compressed. But the thing is, the quality is so high that if you are doing a recording at the CD quality level, only an expert can tell the difference between the original and the playback. So ordinary people will not be able to differentiate original audio from CD quality audio. So HD voice means like in VoIP we have higher quality voice than just normal plain like the telephone service, because the telephone service has got only one codec, and that's PCM at 8 kilobits per second. No, 64 kilobits per second, 8 samples per second of 8 bits. That's the fixed quality of telephones. But when you're using VoIP, you can actually increase it. So you can have higher, they're called multimedia codecs. That means, like if you're doing video conferencing, you might have noticed in some video conferencings, you will notice that the quality of the audio is like as if the other people are also in the same room. So that's what we mean by high quality audio. Then there's options of noise reduction and echo cancellation. If you have noticed that if you're on a Zoom call, you don't really almost never have this problem of, like the loop back, where even if you put your mic towards the speaker and you have a separate mic and a separate speaker which you can hear in the room, you will not get a loop back where, like that. Those strange noises that sound systems make when the mic is placed accidentally towards the speaker. So it basically just gets amplified to a very large volume. That's called echo cancellation. If you notice, if you're doing video conferencing these days, or you're like on WhatsApp, even if you're on speaker, or you're using these softwares, you will notice that they hardly ever get any issues with echo of the mic picking up the speaker. So they're very good at that. Noise reduction is basically, you might have also noticed that the background noises are reduced. So the softwares are pretty good in that aspect also. Disaster recovery and reliability. Cloud-based backups. Okay, now if you're running your VoIP systems and the servers are actually located in other data centers and they're using virtualization technology, so they can switch to other locations. If there's an outage in one area, they can switch faster to another area. That's called cloud-based backup, or you could call it server-based backups. And redundancy and failover are basically like if a telephone network is basically a hierarchical network, so there's only one connection coming to all of the customers. But with the internet, it was designed to be atom bomb proof. So there's multiple paths through the internet. So if there's an issue, you can actually you can have multiple internet connections from different service providers. That means more than one fiber link. And then there's also 3G, 4G, and nowadays you're also getting satellite connections directly to the mobile phones. There were also satellite options with like satellite dishes. So there are like 4 or 5 different ways you can connect the internet to the same location. And the advantage of having VoIP over ordinary telephones is that VoIP can use any internet connection as long as it's fast enough to handle the packets that are there. And usually the normal amount of packets required for one VoIP call is around 20 kilobits per second. So that's pretty low. I mean, and these days, most of the connections are in the megabits per second if they're on fiber. And even if they're on 3G, 4G, there you might get at least 100, 200 kilobytes per second, which is enough for like maybe 5, 10 simultaneous calls without any issues. There are some areas in the world where the internet is not guaranteed to be as reliable as the telephone, or either way. So if you really want to have even more reliability, the better option that we suggest is to have the PSTN lines also, if you have them, connect them to the VoIP servers, and they will be converted into VoIP connections. So in case there is an issue, at least not all lines go down. So even if you lose the internet for some reason, it's unusual, but it is possible. In some areas, this does happen. So the advantage of having both available, and somehow if the PSTN lines do not go down at the time the internet went down, the VoIP systems these days, they can actually combine the two together, so you will have some of the lines at least still working. This thing is having partial networks go down is called graceful degradation. It's better than having everything go down completely. Unified collaboration, unified communication and collaboration. Basically, you can have not just voice, you can also have video calls, and there's also instant messaging and file sharing. So there's sort of like if you have used softwares like WhatsApp compared to your phone. So WhatsApp is sort of like a layer using the internet, and it uses your phone number as the ID. Similarly, VoIP is doing the same thing, but VoIP has been doing that from like 20, 30 years at least. And the advantage is you have instead of having somebody else provide the software, you have your own protocol which is globally the same, and you can connect it. You can combine the telephone systems with the VoIP systems. Like, for example, if you're having a Zoom meeting, what happens is you can have some people call in through the telephone networks, and they can actually listen to the audio while they're not having access to the video itself. But they still, if they're somewhere where they don't have internet and they have a telephone line, they can actually call into the conference. So that's just an example of unified communication. The VoIP systems allow combining of all old telephones and video calls and like all the new messaging methods also. For example, I gave the example of sending the voicemail over the email. So that's an example of unified communication. Global reach. By having VoIP, you can have local numbers in different countries. That means direct inward dialing numbers. You can have like 10 different cities. You can have Singapore, Hong Kong, Dubai, Karachi, London, New York, Chicago, and you can have numbers in different cities and countries, and they will look like, and basically all of those numbers can be coming to your head office, and your call center people can, I mean, even if it's not just the call center people, anybody in the office can be you can make it ring inside the office, or you can even have it forwarded onto other people's mobiles. So, like for example, you have a international number in Singapore, and you want 5 different phones to ring inside the office, and 3 different mobiles that are. If the person is not in the office, but they still want to be able to pick up the phone, what they can do is have the VoIP system forward the call to their, it will ring on their desk also, it will ring on their mobile also, so they can pick it up from wherever they want. So you can have like 5 to 10 or any number of different phones ringing at the same time. And you can even set the times as to which phones can ring at which times. So you can have people even in different countries and different time zones, and they can be routed those calls. So the calls can be coming from anywhere. You can have local numbers anywhere, and they can be picked up anywhere. That is the advantage of this global reach idea. So the virtual phone systems idea is basically, since it is running on software over the internet, you can route it anywhere you like. So your employees can be anywhere, and the customer can be anywhere, and your phone number can be shown as being fixed in different areas. Easier maintenance upgrade. Since there is no physical separate lines going, and the VoIP only uses mostly the internet or the LAN infrastructure or the Wi-Fi or whatever is available at the quality that is required to support an audio or video call, therefore the less physical structure and the less physical infrastructure requirements allow more flexibility, and the maintenance is lower. Secondly, the softwares can be updated without since the administration of all of these systems is under the IT admins, so they can easily upgrade all of the softwares as required. And then it's either the third party or the IT departments that are responsible for updating these systems, and they will be tracking the updates and making sure they're working properly. Due to the lower physical infrastructure requirements, the overall energy requirements of the system are lower also. So it's also energy efficient. So I hope you were able to understand some of the advantages of VoIP systems over the plain old telephony systems. This is our website. It's remote-support.space. And if you would like to email us regarding any of these kinds of services, and we have lots of other services too, you're most welcome to see our website, and you'll see a lot of useful services, and we can discuss them. Our email is voip@remote-support.space, and our phone number for the US is 563-231-7041, and for Asia you can call on 923-432-702932. We are happy to connect and discuss your requirements and give you suggestions on what will be useful for your business. And we also work based on ROI. That means we try to suggest solutions which return a very high return on investment. That means whatever you're putting into it, you should at least get like 10 to 20 times of the return. Thank you for taking the time to see our presentation. I hope you contact us to find out more about the beneficial products and services we have for businesses like yours.